What's up, my comic comrades? Today we start covering Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong 2, the sequel to the amazing Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong. That story was a ton of fun and we covered it in its entirety right here. The question is, how are they going to follow up on such an amazing first series? Well, one thing's for sure, they're definitely going to step up the Titans. With that said, let's jump in. The issue starts off at Task Force X Situation Room on Earth Prime. As someone says, Director Waller, they're ready for you, as she looks at the events that transpired in the first series, saying, never again. On the next page, we see the Suicide Squad lined up and cuffed before Waller, consisting of Harley Quinn, Lex Luthor, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Peacemaker, Captain Cold, Killer Croc, Black Manta, Enchantress, and Cheetah. The squad listens as Waller tells them, Suicide Squad, because of your detention, many of you have no idea about the recent earth-shaking events that nearly killed Superman and brought our world to its knees. Harley says, big giant monsters try to eat the world. Baldy over there told us. Lex adds, they're called Titans. Boomerang says, we know, you won't stop talking about it. Peacemaker then chimes in, right? Like, shut up already. So what? You made a giant robot dinosaur to fight Barney and his friends. You still ended up here with us. Captain Cold then says, try being in the Legion of Doom, always making it about him. As the Colonel says, quiet, Director Waller is speaking. So Waller continues, I see you've met the Colonel. He's our interagency liaison and the head of HDC. Someone asks, what's HDC? The Colonel replies, the Human Defense Corps. We are an agency committed to eliminating government dependency on unaffiliated metahumans. Lex then says he means superheroes that refuse to be accountable to the US government. It was my idea, you know? Peacemaker responds, of course it was. Waller says, here's the headline, Task Force X was sidelined as Meta's face down one of the biggest threats we've ever seen. That can't happen again. Peacemaker asks, what the hell are we going to do against giant monsters? Hit them with boomerangs and hammers? Harley says, obviously, all I need is a big enough mallet. Lex speaks up saying, you're all idiots. The Legion of Doom was on the cusp of victory. The Justice League got lucky. The Colonel then adds, exactly right. By some miracle, Superman managed to get Alpha Titans, Kong and Godzilla to fight on their side, turning the tide in their favor. Waller then tells them the HDC and I have a plan to develop our own defense system that does not rely on rogue metahumans. A plan that involves you all. Time for a field trip. We are then taken to a church where we see Barry Allen marrying Iris West, but the only Justice Leaguers in attendance are Superman and Hal Jordan Green Lantern, while the rest watch the wedding over video, as Barry hasn't yet revealed to Iris that he's the Flash, and the only two Leaguers that he knows are Clark Kent, aka Superman, and Hal Jordan, aka Green Lantern. Black Canary remarks, it's an interesting way to start a marriage. As Barry comes running in, he says, don't worry, I'm going to tell her. I'm just waiting for the right time. Nightwing says, seems to have worked out fine for Clark. Bruce then adds, revealing your identity is a big risk for both people involved. Green Arrow then tells him, Bruce has a point, maybe you shouldn't. Barry says, I'm going to tell her I am, and thanks again for coming. Well, sort of. As he runs back to his wedding to have his first dance with his bride, Iris West. As he runs back to his wedding to have his first dance with his bride, Iris asks, what are you thinking? He says nothing, just happy is all. She asks, you sure? Because knowing my husband as I do, you have that look you get when you're late and are afraid to tell me why. He says, really? Yes, I do have something to tell you. I'm not going to be late anymore. She smiles, saying, totally believe that. Then as Clark and Hal are talking at the wedding, Lois gets a message on her phone and tells Clark it's from Mercy Graves. Lex Luthor has gone missing. Hal asks, isn't he in prison for nearly destroying the world? Lois says he was, now he's off grid, and she can't find him. Clark says, with LexCorp's reach, she can locate him. Lois replies, it's like he vanished. Her only lead is a set of geo-coordinates she thinks might be him. She helped me out when the Titans came. She's asking me to get help from Superman. We are then taken to Cape Town Stadium in South Africa, where we see Lex and Enchantress working on an experiment that has King Shark in a containment tube filled with water. Enchantress says, if this works, I don't know how long it will last. Science and the arcane don't mesh. Luthor tells her magic is science not yet quantified by small minds. Enchantress responds, smarter men try to. He interrupts her saying, there are no smarter men. It will work. They then start the experiment on King Shark as Waller says, commence beta test. With the unpredictability of our arcane power source, we're looking for magnitude and viability over longevity. The Colonel says, Enchantress, stand by to evacuate Lex. I want you to rendezvous with Black Manta as soon as Quinn and Cold acquire the coordinates. Enchantress then turns on the experiment saying, here we go. King Shark then says, whoa, as we see a massive explosion with the last panel on the page showing Godzilla's eyes as he senses something. On the next page, we see the Justice League in the Nevada desert on Earth Prime. Mercy Graves is with them, and she says, Lex's power suit came online 36 hours ago. We pinged it at these geo-coordinates, but minutes later, it went offline. Superman replies, there's something down there, Miss Graves. A secret bunker, or perhaps a converted missile silo, as he uses his X-ray vision. Wonder Woman adds, shouldn't be a problem getting down there. Mr. Terrific then says, before all of you go punching through the Earth, give me one moment. Here we go. He then opens up the ground, hacking the entrance to the secret bunker. Batman then tells him, "Are you sure this isn't some off-the-grid LexCorp installation?" Mercy answers, "Lex doesn't keep secrets from me, ever." The Flash then uses his super speed to run in and check it out, and when he comes out, he tells them, "The Human Defense Corps. The good news is, it's just your average super secure underground science facility. The bad news is, they have a boom tube." When the team goes in, Batman says they fashioned a boom tube into a multiversal portal. Mr. Terrific adds, "Simple but brilliant concept, and seemingly controlled via a portal terminal." Lois then speaks up saying, which explains why there's no one here to greet us. Superman asks, "Is any of this Lex tech?" Mercy hesitates and says, "We have contracts with every government organization, so I'm not sure that tells us anything." Lois asks, "How recently was this portal used?" Terrific says 36 hours ago. It aligns with Lex's power suit briefly going offline. There's a good chance he's on the other side of that portal. Batman says, "Then that's where we need to go." Flash tells him, "Give me a minute, I'll do a quick recon." Superman says, "Honestly, you should be on your honeymoon." The Flash replies, "We're going to Maldives next week. I appreciate the concern, but I'm good. Better than good. I'm great, and nothing has changed. I'm still the Flash." Then before Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash walk in, Batman says, "One way to find out, but first, I need to get something from the Batwing." We are then brought back to King Shark, who has been turned into a giant titan. That experiment Lex and Enchantress were working on turned him into a Godzilla-sized King Shark. He's then rampaging through Cape Town with people running for their lives. As Enchantress looks for his brain activity, Lex says he had little to start with, but yes, as predicted, titanizing has adverse effects on brain activity. In other words, King Shark is more of a mindless monster now than ever. Clearly, Amanda Waller and the Suicide Squad's plan is to create their own titans out of the Suicide Squad members to go up against Godzilla and other creatures or beings they deem threats. On the next page, Godzilla comes out of the water as Enchantress flies away with Lex, and the fight between the King of Monsters and the King Shark Titan begins. Elsewhere, the Justice League members arrive on the other end of the portal in a massive bat mech holding a machine gun. This thing full-on looks like a Rambo Batman robot. Flash gets out of Batman's mech saying, "I can't believe you had that in your Batwing." Batman replies, "Technically, it's most of the Batwing. A quick patch to the operating system will allow us to contact Mr. Terrific when it's time to go back." Supergirl then tells Superman, "Cal, I've been here before. We're on Skull Island," as giant creatures start attacking Superman and Supergirl. Flash asks, "What's Skull Island?" She replies, "The land of giant creatures that appeared with the Titans and Godzilla. It's also Kong's home." Wonder Woman and Batman say that answers where we are and why Lex may be here. Superman tells Supergirl, "They're coming fast. Let's play defense. No reason to hurt them if we don't have to." Elsewhere, we see the Colonel and Waller observing King Shark fighting Godzilla. The Colonel says to Waller, "Harley and Cole have acquired the location data. As soon as this test is over and Lex returns, we should move right to phase 2. Waller replies, "I'll make that determination when the time comes. Right now, I want your attention on King Shark and Godzilla." As we see King Shark and Godzilla go toe-to-toe. Godzilla eventually takes King Shark down by biting him on the neck and throwing him to the ground, then taking his hands and prying open King Shark's mouth. The Colonel says his vitals are spiking, possible cardiac arrest. As Lex and Enchantress arrive, Lex says the effects are wearing off. We then see King Shark shrink back to his normal size, saying, "What happened?" With the threat averted, Godzilla goes back into the ocean, and the Colonel says everything is lining up. Prep for phase 2. Waller says, "I already told you, Colonel, that's not your call." The Colonel then tells her, "I don't take orders. This is a joint operation." Waller tells him, "No, I have tactical and operational command. Is that clear?" He responds, "It's clear that you don't know me very well." Enchantress says, "Not to break up the fun, but Kong is on the move. He's agitated. Something has him all worked up." As Kong sees the Justice League, who has arrived on his island. Wonder Woman, while looking at Kong, says, "That looks like aggressive behavior," as Kong is beating on his chest. Batman says, "We're on his turf. This could get ugly." Superman adds, "Especially if Kara and I aren't at our best." Supergirl then tells them, "Something is off. I feel it too." Flash asks, "Why wouldn't you be at your best? Because of the lightning?" As they earlier got hit with lightning from those massive bat creatures that started attacking the Justice League. Kong then lands right in front of the Justice League as Flash says, "I hope he remembers us," but judging by his pounding and roaring, Flash adds, "I don't think he remembers us." We're then taken back to Amanda Waller and the Colonel as they continue to argue. Waller says, "Why is the Justice League here?" "I'm talking to you, Colonel. Why are they here?" He replies, "Are you accusing me of something?" She says, "Incompetence or sabotage." He answers, "I warned you. You really must be suicidal." She then says, "Clearly you don't know me either. Let me give you a warning. I'm not the one to be trifled with, Colonel. Better men have tried," but the Colonel shoots her in the stomach with her falling to the ground. He then says, "I'm Colonel Leland Lafayette Shaw III, and I'm taking over command of Task Force X. Does anyone have a problem with that?" As Lex and Enchantress say nothing, he says, "Good. On to phase 2, with Amanda Waller seemingly dead on the floor." And that brings issue 1 to an end, but man, what a way to kick this series off. You got Amanda Waller, who's apparently dead, you got King Shark turned into a Titan, and Kong is ready to attack the Justice League. But also Colonel Shaw III. He's from the Monsterverse. In the movies, Kurt Russell plays him, and then in the show Monarch, Wyatt Russell plays the younger version of him. And they just had him kill Amanda Waller. I am so curious to see where this goes. Much like the first series, this is off to a great start. It's so funny to me how the Godzilla and Monsterverse work with the Justice League and the DC Universe. This is one of my favorite crossover series in a while, which says a lot because there have been a ton of great ones in recent years. Clearly we're digging this, but what do you guys think? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments. Other than that, we will see you next time when we talk about all things comics.